Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
So we have an indicted pastor, Bishop David E. Taylor, head of the Kingdom of God Global Church.
God is showing me right now, there's one woman, even sitting in Taylor, you have like $75,000 in your account. And you can give half.
I paid over $6,000 to Louis Vuitton.
Yes.
What would that be for?
Well, this is for clothes concerning my TV ministry as well.
Or you have to wear Louis Vuitton?
Oh, it don't matter what name it is. The point is clothing are allocated to us for ministry purposes as well. When I'm always traveling and using my clothes, I'm sweating through them. So I'm needing new clothes also for television ministry.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Lord, I also break a stingy spirit because I sense that there's some heavy hitters watching me tonight. There's some people that can give 200,000, 300,000. They can give 50,000, 20,000. They had it saved up. But God, that's a stingy spirit on. There's a spirit of fear. So I break that spirit of stinginess.
According to the indictment, which we have and will go over today, Taylor defrauded followers out of millions by claiming their donations were for God's work, when in reality, he allegedly used the money for luxury purchases. Think mansions, designer clothing, high-end cars, and even expensive cosmetic procedures. The indictment goes on to say that he created a cult-like atmosphere where members were pressured into giving everything: money, houses, labor, and even estranged relationships with family members under the belief that they were serving God. They say that he controlled followers' lives, allegedly cutting them off from loved ones, forcing unpaid labor, and using intimidation to silence anyone who questioned him.
And so that's why I am hard on them. They know I love them. And that's why they don't leave. So when I rebuke my staff, that ain't none of your business. And I know some of y'all are holding up coming because you say, I don't know if I can be rebuked like that. You need to get over it.
Prosecutors say David Taylor wasn't just buying these big houses to live large. He allegedly used them as call center hubs for his ministry. He's accused of recruiting people from all across the country, convincing them to quit their jobs and devote themselves fully to his work. Once they arrived, he allegedly told them to apply for food stamp benefits and turn the cards over to the church. These followers weren't paid for their labor. Instead, they were placed inside these call centers where they had to hit daily quotas of phone calls, reaching out to unsuspecting people and pushing them to donate. The script they used claimed the money would support noble causes like helping victims of trafficking. But here's the twist. Prosecutors say the donors were never told that some of the very workers making these phone calls were themselves trafficked and exploited by the ministry. The charges lay out a pattern of deception and abuse, fraud and money laundering, millions in donations collected under the promise of building God's kingdom. There was also alleged human trafficking. Prosecutors say Taylor wasn't just exploiting people financially. These were members. Many of them were women who were recruited into the ministry with the promise of serving God, but instead ended up forced into situations they couldn't walk away from. Some were allegedly trafficked for labor, working long hours without pay under the threat of spiritual punishment, and others were reportedly coerced into sexual exploitation and given contraception, traveling to Taylor in vans where he allegedly used his authority as a man of God to manipulate or intimidate them into compliance. We're going to get into this story and so much more, but before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this case and so much more. Now let's get back into it.
And tonight we are learning more about the nationwide FBI raids, including here in Central Florida, involving leaders of a church that appeared on televisions across the world. Good evening, I'm Greg Warman.
And I'm Martha Sigalski. Federal prosecutors say the leaders of the Kingdom of God Global Church used abuse tactics under the guise of religion to rake in millions of dollars. Channel 9's Nick Pampantonis was in Ocala today as FBI agents scoured just one of the many properties owned by the church.
There's more excitement around here than we've had since the wild pig.
Joseph Hildner said 5 loud booms woke this Ocala community Wednesday morning. A dozen FBI cars descending on this $2.6 million home. They did the same in North Carolina, Tampa, and 5 other properties across the U.S., arresting this man, David Taylor, the so-called apostle of the Kingdom of God Global Church.
Always restore to us the joy of your salvation.
This video posted to the church's Facebook page the night before the raid shows the emotional nature of Taylor's preaching, but agents say a system of cruelty hid behind the tears. They accused Taylor of running call centers out of these homes, unpaid staff cut off from the outside world, told to raise an unreachable amount of money in donations, and when they failed, Taylor deprived them of sleep and food. They say since 2014, Taylor pocketed $50 million. A staff member at his Ocala house after the raid refusing to comment.
From bumper to bumper, just a black Suburban with opaque windows that you cannot see in or out of, and they were coming and going a lot.
They'll come to his ministry lured through promises of a free housing, free meals.
Pete Evans and Barry Bowen investigate religious fraud for the Trinity Foundation and interviewed some of Taylor's staff. They pointed to his far-flung properties and constant attempts to get his viewers to call his church, like you see here, as red flags. They say it's a well-worn playbook.
They would believe he's closer to God than they are, and he feeds on people's ignorance.
Nick is joining us live here in the studio. Nick, they also arrested the church's executive director. How much time are each of them facing?
One of them faces 8 counts. That's the executive director. One faces 10 counts. It's 20 years per count and a lot in fines, including all the properties can be taken from them. We're going to show you the scale of this operation here. They had staff members working in 4 different states, 2 sites here in Florida. The sermons aired on the Word Network, which is one of the largest religious channels aimed at black churchgoers. And just if you're interested, the money was spent on cars, boats, ATVs, a lot of luxury goods there.
And I'm sure.
And mansions.
This indictment is from July. However, David E. Taylor and his executive director, Michelle Brannon, were arrested this week. She was arrested in Florida and he was arrested in North Carolina. So far, their charges are conspiracy to commit forced labor, and money laundering conspiracy. Taylor calls himself apostle and Jesus's best friend. He claims he's had multiple face-to-face encounters with God and that God has given him the keys to the kingdom on earth. Taylor established his first organized call center at 20320 Superior Road in Taylor, Michigan. The purpose of the call centers was to use phone solicitors to raise money from donors purportedly to support the operations and ministry of KOGGC. Taylor has since opened and operated call centers in other locations in the United States, including in Missouri, Florida, and Texas. Taylor recruits individuals from across the country to work as phone solicitors at his call centers. Each day, his call center workers are instructed to make a specific number of calls or raise a specific dollar amount. Call center workers are unpaid, and KOGGC receives millions of dollars in donations each year. Taylor uses donations to support an extravagant personal lifestyle, including a series of residences, airline tickets, personal vehicles, and luxury goods. KOGGC has received approximately $50 million in donations since 2014.
All right, so what is this residential center?
Oh, this is a place that the ministry owns. Well, not own. We're in the process of buying that. Yeah, we don't own it yet.
So are you renting to buy, or are you?
Yeah, we're leasing to buy.
Now again, people that lived in these homes were workers that went unpaid. They had to meet these certain quotas at the call center, and if they didn't, punishments happened. These punishments included additional work, food restrictions, shelter restrictions, psychological abuse, sleep deprivation, physical assault, and threats of spiritual damnation. With that was divine judgment in the form of sickness, accidents, death, and eternal damnation. On or about October 6, 2020 at 5:31 a.m., Brannon sent a text message to several members of the media team, including V3, stating, "Media team, no going to sleep until the Mosaic video is done." On or about May 5th, 2021 at 12:26 a.m., Taylor texts to DG, his current armor bearer, tasked with communicating his orders to KOGGC staff, whose identity is known to the grand jury. You'll have to raise $164,000 today. Each hour you fall behind, consequences will start. We will mess with your food. You will fast from the regular food or abstain for a while normally. As of now, there's a 21-day peanut butter and jelly regimen like before. Those who do not push in their calls individually and as a team with the right amount of people and closing numbers at 6 p.m., they don't eat dinner at all. If they do good afterwards, this time then at the end of the night, they may get a snack before bed, but not much. And this regimen will go on every day for 21 days until they obey. Take away their food. There will be other consequences. We must make them fast and pray. On or about September 11th, 2021 at 3:55 a.m., Taylor texts to KOGGC, victim DG. Those in the top 9 that don't do well will stay up and close and stay on top of the delinquents. Put the pressure on them not having their time off, nor food. They will fast. On or about September 19th, 2021 at 9:10 p.m., Taylor texts to KOGGC victim DG, Michelle and top 9 closers. How is it in 5 hours you've only raised $6,000? This is a marathon. You are not taking this serious enough. This has to stop. Nobody gets lunch or dinner. You are going to have to press another 5 hours. Make sure no one eats until those numbers change. If they don't change, in the next 5 hours, you are going to work until 4 a.m. Now stand up and tell everyone they are not eating. Have they eaten? I hope not. Also, that over the next 5 hours, if they don't make up for this, they are not going to bed until 4 a.m. Now, on or about September 19th, 2021 at 10:21 p.m., Taylor texts to KOGGC victim DG, Michelle and Kia, make them all stand and tell them if the punishment of 4 a.m. don't work, I'm going to make it worse and worse. They're going to get their beds out of my house and sleep in the garage. Everyone piled in there. This ruthless boot camp is going to get worse and worse until they do what we are telling them. There will only be soup, bread, and water for all the degenerates every day. Now, these text messages go on and on for pages. These people were mistreated. Now, due to the amount of work required and lengthy meetings, victims often operated in a state of sleep deprivation. The defendants required the victims to request permission to leave their housing or the call centers and control their access to transportation. The defendants rarely permitted victims to seek outside medical attention. The defendants often denied victims medical attention altogether. In some instances, the defendants physically abused victims when Taylor was displeased with the actions or behavior of victims. Taylor and Brannon told victims if they leave KOGGC, they will be met with divine judgment in the form of physical harm and eternal damnation. Taylor and Brannon instilled in the victims a fear of non-compliance and a fear of leaving Taylor's organization. Some of the items that they were able to purchase were Mercedes-Benz, Bentleys, boats, jet skis, ATVs, 125 pounds of super colossal red king crab legs, 6 seafood shears, and 30 crab clusters for $30,000, a Rolls Royce, and several bulletproof automotives. So on top of having to forfeit all of these items, these two are facing some serious time behind bars. Conspiracy to commit forced labor has a penalty of up to 20 years in federal prison, and if the forced labor involved aggravated circumstances like serious injury, threat with weapons, or exploitation, the penalties can go up to life. Now, for forced labor, the penalty is up to 20 years in prison. And again, if the crime involved aggravated factors like kidnapping, abuse, or death, it can go up to life imprisonment. And conspiracy to commit money laundering has a penalty of up to 20 years in prison and also includes fines of up to $500,000 or twice the value of the property involved, whichever is greater.
Michelle Brannon, listed as the executive director of David E. Taylor's Kingdom of God Global Church, appeared in federal court Thursday. Several locations affiliated with the organization, including the JMMI building in North Houston, were raided simultaneously by the FBI Wednesday. Sources tell Fox 26 people found in some of these locations were in need of medical care and refused it. Gospel artist Vicky Yohe posted a video online shortly after the arrest. In her book, she says she dated Taylor for some time and tried to expose his crimes in the past.
Today was a victory for those who had no voice or who were afraid to expose the truth. They get to wake up from their nightmare like I did several years ago.
The feds are not playing with Mr. David E. Taylor and Michelle Brannon. What I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything going on with this case? Leave a comment, and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. As always, thanks for watching. But before you go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any of our new episodes.